Cavs fans are not going to be happy when they hear what Brian Windhorst has been saying about the Cavaliers trades. We have talked multiple times on this show about what the Cavaliers can do in a trade, and Brian Windhorst has usually responded to those rumors and things he's hearing with the Cavaliers, and I don't think Cavs fans are going to be very happy about what he's been saying. Hey everybody, Billy BB back with you on Cavs Digest. We are so close to 1,500. We just hit 1,300 subscribers. We would appreciate it if you subscribe. I gave a plea in our last video, hey, be done with the Browns, move on from the Browns, move your attention to someone that deserves it, and the 23-4 Cavaliers came out and earned it again last night against the Brooklyn Nets. We'll dip into that for just a second during this video. We'll also talk about the Windhorst stuff that I just mentioned, and of course we'll send you on your way, encouraging you to drop down into the comments. Had a lot of great discussions about who the Cavs should be looking to trade for in the last video. Really enjoyed the names being floated around. Some thoughts on our players. You know, I know people debated what a wing is, who a wing is for the Cavaliers. I think that's a debate, and I think Kenny Atkinson uses guys different, and teams use guys different, and it's pre and post NBA. It's not necessarily always about size and whatever. Subscribe. Drop down in the comments. Help us learn what people out there are feeling about the Cavaliers. I think that's always a good thing. So let's jump into it. The Cavs, a 130-101 winner over the Brooklyn Nets last night. Donovan Mitchell always plays well against the Nets and Knicks. You got to love that. Homecoming sort of for Kenny Atkinson. It's been a while since he's been a head coach in that building. 2020 he was fired. I actually remember him getting fired. I was flying back from a baseball broadcast in Florida, and the plane was empty because COVID had hit, and Kenny Atkinson got fired, and I remember thinking that was a mistake. But the Cavaliers returned last night, and Evan Mobley returning last night, playing really well. Mobley, 21 points, 7 of 9 shooting, 6 of 6 from the free throw line, and knocked down a 3 straight up from the top of the key. You'll love to see that. Also had 5 rebounds and 2 assists. Great example of, hey, there's games where he's the facilitator, he's the ball mover, he's the guy that runs through. In other games, he's taking control on offense, and he's going for it. Another homecoming, and I think the most underrated part of this game that some fans missed and some people watching this game missed, was Caris LeVert with another bounce back performance. Okay, and I've said Caris LeVert has had his struggles, and people have debated me, and I understand that narrative because, and if you don't know this joke on Cavs Twitter, there's a wheel of players that Caris LeVert plays like, and like 15 out of 17 of them are really good. He'll be Kobe Bryant one night, he'll be Magic Johnson one night, he'll be Dwayne Wade one night, but then it can land on like a Anthony Bennett. And he has games like that. Sometimes he has games where all he does is pass. All he does is try on defense, so it looks like he disappeared. So have it. Last night was I would say he played like Dwayne Wade. He had a Dwayne Wade-esque night, and you needed it. Off the bench, back in a place that meant a lot to him, and Caris LeVert played well, so you kind of needed that, and the Cavaliers, they get that win. They snag that win, which, as I talked about, you love to see. Sam Merrill, again, one of those nights, 1 of 8 from the field, 1 of 8 from 3. I mean, I know a lot of people kind of debate. It's getting bad. It's getting bad. It's something to note. Not going to deep dive that too much yet. We will get into it, but it's getting bad there. They need Max Strus back to take those minutes at guard or forward. I don't care what you call Sam Merrill. Those minutes have to go to somebody that's going to not shoot 1 of 8 with them and play mediocre defense. So let's get to what I was talking about. ESPN's Brian Windhorst. Every time there's been a Cavs rumor or talk of the Cavs making a trade, Windhorst has responded or given his thoughts on the Cavaliers and what they should do, and some light rumors, some heavy rumors, and how they're going to operate at this year's deadline. And I think it's really interesting stuff. So the first one was back when the Kyle Kuzma talk started. And not only is the Kuzma thoughts in there, but you also get 2 other thoughts that we'll discuss once we watch this video here.
The first trade rumor of the season came through. Apparently someone linking Kyle Kuzma potentially to the Cavs.
I had not heard that trade rumor. I don't know how the Cavs are getting to a Kyle Kuzma trade. I'd have to go look at that. But I don't think that really helps them, although that is size on the perimeter. But they need size who can defend, and that's not really what Kuzma is doing at this point. in his career. The Cavs have very little draft assets to trade because they owe so much to the Jazz. They are a hair into the luxury tax. I would be very tempted if I were the Cavs to get out of the luxury tax with the trade. The Cavs have all this money coming on their books with Donovan Mitchell's extension and Evan Mobley's extension and even Jarrett Allen's extension. So they're going to be a luxury tax player starting next year. I would prefer them to try to get out of the tax if they could, because that would set them better up for the next 2-3 years.
Okay, so a couple things from Windhorst on that. Back when the Kuzma deal had kind of rivaled up. First, he hadn't heard that Kuzma trade rumor. That's because it came from an opinion piece somewhere, and then, an NBA Legion or something takes it, says the Cavs are interested in Kyle Kuzma. No, there was just an article that listed Cavs as a potential team to trade for Kyle Kuzma. Okay, so if Windhorst hadn't heard of it, obviously there's a good chance it's not on the Cavs' radar, or it's not a serious thing for the Cavaliers. Next thing, assets. He said what a lot of us skip past. I do it sometimes when I'm thinking about trades, 2 for 1, 2 for 2, 3 for 2. They don't have picks to really chuck in there. Maybe they have some seconds, some here, there's. They owe the Jazz pick still. They haven't gotten many picks back because they haven't been trading players. They've been trading for players or adding guys. So assets is a key. Look, I've been as guilty as anybody else of saying take George Niang, take whoever. The teams are going to eventually want picks, not just George Niang and Sam Merrill, right? So that's a big thing there. And then he's mentioned this in this video. Windhorst has mentioned this in other interviews I've seen. There seems to be some sort of relevancy with the cap. The cap, getting under the luxury cap, working towards getting under the luxury cap. He seems to think that's a concern for the Cavaliers, which in my head is more about working for money and not working for talent, adding talent to your team. So that's what I gathered from that first video. Let's watch the second.
Season came through. Apparently, someone linking Kyle Kuzma potentially.
Oops, wrong one.
You don't think there's a trade coming in February for one of these core four, right?
I would doubt that. The reason that I think that the Cavs kept the core four together was I think they thought there was 2 reasons. One, Kenny Atkinson presented a plan where he thought he could get more out of them, and it's been working. And also because there wasn't an attractive trade that was out there for any of them anyway. So it made more sense. It just was a better strategy to try him with a new coach and work with a new idea. That just made better sense. Part of making a trade or not is what you can trade for. It's not that you think that this team is going to rival the 86 Celtics in 2 years. Maybe they will. They're better this year than anybody thought they would be. But part of it is, what we have now is better than what we can trade for. So it's planning.
So that one, just a reminder there from Brian Windhorst. I don't really know where the idea that they would trade one of the core four. I don't know. We can maybe get into a Jarrett Allen discussion later as he continues to be okay, but not maybe what they hope. I'm not sure on that. We're not going to jump into that right now. But Windhorst throws a stern reminder out there. They're not going to trade if it doesn't make them a better team. They're not going to get rid of multiple guys if the guys they're getting back aren't better than that. So not going to give Niang and Strus for a guy that's maybe a fit, but not better than Niang and Strus. Those are thoughts from Windhorst. Does this make you upset? It seems like Windhorst is leaning towards the Cavs can't make a trade, or a trade is going to be done for money. Does that make you upset as a fan? Drop down in the comments. Let us know. And as trade season, we've talked about, we got to do more here as trade season continues on Cavs Digest.